And things like, I mean, the way the film, we try to save as much as we could in terms of the shot of Fasten Your Seatbelts was taken by Rob Legato on his flight home to LA on an iPhone. That's an iPhone shot. And he said, well, I'm going to go shoot the real thing. What real thing? I said, it's there. Fasten your seatbelt. That's it. That's the one. I mean, we want to spend, you know.
So those are a couple 5-cent solutions you guys came up with, the iPhone and the Star Trek fall. I mean, that's good. We're saving money now.
Well, they were all like naked and falling over each other, but it worked. And you know, it just seemed to really. There are a couple of other phantom shots in there. We slipped in 1 or 2 shots.
There's that great shot with it, which I saw actually when I saw the film just on Boxing Day, was the music score with Jonah Hill, which is fantastic when he comes, you know, the Steve Madden at the pool table.
Oh yes,
When he comes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a phantom when Jonah Hill is slow motion coming around. Leo, that's actually Henry Purcell. That's King Arthur, and it's the song "What Power Art Thou?" about winter thawing the earth, and the spring is bringing the earth forth, and the earth is saying, "Oh, I was sleeping under the snow so nicely. Who's waking me now? What power art thou?" And it's a famous aria from, and it's just, oh, no, no, and it gets bigger and bigger as he wakes up, and the world starts again. And somehow it just seemed to work beautifully with that. And that was kind of fun that day. We had no idea what we were doing with the pool game. Apparently was they said, let's do beer pong, and I didn't know what that was, so. And so, well, this is what we do. We throw the ball into the thing, and then I take a drink, and I go, oh, God, we're going to have to shoot all of them. Yeah, that's good. Then they made it, I said, lewd pong. How about that? Said, if you hit the drink or whatever, then you take a Quaalude. And so, but then it became like, it became, do we show the actual rules of the game, so to speak, when in actuality, we were really more interested in the dialogue of what they were saying. So, but again, it was a very quick shoot that day up there, yeah.
How's it going?
But, yeah, I mean, again, these were the Rodrigo and Adam, and all the actors front and center every day, ready to go, you know. Terrifyingly ready.
Well, speaking of terror, even after it's acknowledged you're the master, and here you are at this point in your life, there's got to be, tell me please, there's moments where you walk into a scene armed with a shot list or armed with, I know exactly how to do this, and you get there, and for whatever reason, at this point, is it still there, you say, wait, this doesn't work, I don't have this, or this, I thought it would be this way, and it's this way, and that, you know, those moments.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's the fear every morning,
right,
or the day before, or a week before in rehearsal. Trying to, but there's no doubt. Pretty much every scene is that way. Every scene is that way. That's why I really, you know.
There's got to be some that are worse than others. Some that are like, wait, I have misjudged this, or I thought as much as I should know walking into this. Why do I? I think for my own benefit, I just want to know, does this ever go away?
There's definitely, for example, we had this beautiful house that we were shooting in I don't know, Long Island somewhere, and the people were very nice. That was Jordan's house. And we have this scene where he comes back and he's stoned on the Quaaludes and Jonah's on the phone. And I had designed the whole thing so that he goes right to Jonah, grabs him off the phone. They fight, they roll on the floor. Jonah gets up and goes into a glass table and crashes and he starts to choke. And I had to have the table a certain place, I had the phone a certain place. Now I knew we could move the phone, but the problem was that if you move it a certain way, you don't have the depth of the house. Now I could do it all this way, but all you see are the cabinets. What's this? So I said, okay, he comes in the hallway and he goes right to the phone, and I look in the kitchen, in the middle of the kitchen is this giant table, it's an island, they call it. And I said, he can't get to Jonah. How's he gonna? He's going to have to go around and everything. And he's so out of his mind he can't move because we did so much with him, his body not responding to his mind in a way with the Quaaludes. And so we just got stuck, and my heart sank because we had to shoot it right away. We had to get going. And I think it was Bob Shaw, the production designer, says, I have an idea. And I said, what is it? He said, I have to show you if you allow. I said, by all means. So he got in the hallway, And he crawled in and jumped on the island and crawled over. And I said, they'll love it. In order to get to the phone, he's got to climb over. That's the shortest distance. Of course, he can go around, but he can't. His body doesn't work that way anymore. So he's got to climb over that. And that's literally that. And then we got into the whole thing with the phone, where the phone would be, and what if the cord is you know, because if we had the phone more to the left of the frame, I would wind up shooting against this other cabinet, and I couldn't get the glass table. All of this, and at the same time, Popeye's going on in the background, and the little kid is there. So it was a nightmare. And it really was until ultimately their action. Once Leo was able to leap onto the island and grab Jonah, and I saw what they were doing with that telephone cord, and those cords are, you know, you start pulling them, and then if you pull far enough, it snaps back, and it hits me in the face, and it became like some comedy or something. So
that's what I.
So we went further.
I mean, I consider it's like a Buster Keaton scene.
Exactly.
It's like you know, what's Laurel and Hardy or something.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you know, where and it is so endless, that whole sequence, and I mean. To the benefit of everybody in this room, it is so fucking long and great. Every moment of it, you're just dripping when he's trying to get to that Lamborghini.
Oh, that for me is the best.
It is like, but so it wasn't as if you attacked this thing thinking, this is a physical comedy piece. It was just more like, it kept evolving.
We're gonna go bit by bit on this.
Yeah,
we're gonna see how he gets there.
Okay, right.
He's gonna get to that car, okay? The car's right there. He's here. It's very simple. He's gotta get to the car. The only thing is he can't move. And he's not, you know, incapacitated in any way. He just took too many stupid drugs, okay? Now, but he's got to get to that car. And when he got to the car, he crawled over. Remember that night, too? He hurt his back the night before from the shot.
Yeah, no, going back on the thing.
Where he falls back, and then he said, my God, the Quaaludes kicked in. We put him on a rig, and sure enough, hurt his back. But and the tone of the set, of course, changed, because I didn't want him to continue, but he wanted to do a few more.
But that's it. Every time he would always go beyond and beyond, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Every time, Leo, but wherever he
Constant. So you're going to get hurt again. No. At that point, he couldn't move at all then. And so by the time he was crawling on the floor, it was very painful. And we knew what the shot was. We knew it was just simple tracking the Lamborghini. This Lamborghini that is a very special car from the 70s, and I mean from the 90s. And I knew that he had to get to the car. He had to open the door and get in the car. And then we added this phone call, because there were like 2 or 3 scenes that were combined, you see. But what I saw him do, and he's very long, Leo, and he can move, he's very flexible in a way, but still he was in a lot of pain. But when he got to the door, I always tell the story, when he got to the door, I forgot that the door opened up. So we're there, he's in pain, we got to shoot, and how's he going to open the door? He said, my foot? I said, yeah, sure. Now, he did that with his foot. And that's what reminded me of Buster Keaton or Jerry Lewis or Jacques Tati, because, and then what happened is that when he finally gets in the car, he's so long, Leo, he's so tall, his feet stuck out. So that when the telephone, you see his feet reacting, and the car looks like a face. And it's got the feet reacting. That's the shot. No doing coverage, no coverage. Let's get out of here. 2 takes, that was it. By that second take, it was too much pain. So, but when he starts answering the phone, and his wife, and she did 1 phone call. That was it, once or twice. That's all. She didn't see what was going on. She was somewhere else.
So the take that you used of him getting the Lamborghini was the first one?
First take, yeah.
Brilliant.
Because he just felt it. He felt the comedy too. He felt how absurd it was. He didn't know what his feet looked like, but we saw it was just classic. I said, "This is it." I said, "No, let's continue further. He's got to get in the house." I could have gone on with that. He's got to get down the hall. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Originally, it was a scene where it was 2 scenes that actually happened, Jordan, in his life, where the car crashed, and he did think he got back. He thought he got back unharmed. The car was untouched, and he wakes up, police saying, "Come with us, sir." And he goes, "What are you talking about? Is this your car?" And he looks and, "Oh my God, you know, it was a disaster." And he was brought to jail, etc. But we combined it with a scene in which he did have to save Jonah's life, or the character Jonah played. And he got a hamburger stuck in his throat, and it was in a swimming pool, and all that sort of stuff. But we combined the 2 scenes together and added the Swiss lawyer on the phone. Get off the phone. It's so absurd, the whole thing. You know?
Yeah.
But I thought that the whole picture was that way. We tried to, it was a matter of extraordinary speed, and then stopping for long dialogue scenes, like with Jonah and Leo in the bar and talking about his cousin that he married. That was like shot in 2 hours. It was just like 2 angles, that's it. Double camera, 3 or 4 takes, you know?
There's a couple of there's a few of those. I mean, you have an amazing one early on with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, that, yeah. That was
That felt just so immediate and right there. It felt like they were moving around each other and dancing and improvising a bit, but it felt so locked in. All those scenes where everybody's sitting and talking to each other, those feel like they anchor the movie amongst all this madness.
But we were playing with that as those scenes were getting bigger in the script. They weren't really that big in the script. We made them bigger. And then as we were on set and we were reacting.
Yeah, and they were like 1/8 of a page. It was just
suddenly
no dialogue written for those scenes at all. Yeah.
And I said, I remember we did this a number of times in Casino and Goodfellas. I said, but this would be interesting to try and create a different kind of rhythm in a film that will probably be a longer film. We knew that. It'll probably be, 250 or whatever it is, 252. And if that's the case, and if you're with the picture, if it doesn't turn you off in terms of all the, the obscenity of the idea, the obscenity of the film, then if you're with the picture, hopefully the length, you wouldn't feel the length, And it's a matter of this alternating and then taking off on 3 different movies, like in a sense the Quaalude sequence is another movie, but it encapsulates where their minds are at that point, or what they're doing with their lives.
I mean, at its best, an audience goes with it, and they are immersed, and they just on for the kaleidoscope of the insanity. What's the worst that can happen? They say, "Fuck it, I don't want any part of this," and they walk out. I mean, what that's a risk.
The audience, you mean?
Yeah, the audience. Right?
No, a lot of people. The thing was that people have asked. Number of people have asked me. Said, "Well, would it have been better? Not better. But what if you had a point in the picture where you state your position on the morality of these people, etc. And it's a bad thing that they behave this way, or not behaving just in terms of drugs and the sex. It's the violence of the confidence man, of taking your confidence and your trust. That's one guy here, and then it becomes other guys, or it could become, I don't know, the entire financial establishment. And it's happened many, many times in history. And so you take this as a microcosm, and this kind of thinking is what it's about. It's obscene. It's obscene thinking. And in a way, I felt that if there was ever a moment where a character expresses, this is extremely bad, etc., you shouldn't think that, I told the guys, and I told them, I said, you wouldn't listen to it. You look at the film, if you do, you say, okay, I see what they're saying, fine. Now you go home, you feel you've done your duty in a way of watching a film that has some sort of obvious moral statement, so that you know it's there, and forget about it. In the meantime, I wanted to get deeper and provoke the audience. It came out of just frustration and anger about the situation in 2008. And then you go back, there's more. People are being thrown out of their houses. Guys are sleeping, people are sleeping in the street, people are killing themselves in Greece, shooting themselves. What? So you can have a plane ride and some sets on a plane? Mm-hmm. That's the kind of thing, that is the thinking that disturbs me. I'm saying, what you do with your private life, it's up to you. But when it's affecting people the other way, and nobody goes to jail, or nobody's really stopped, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my reason for doing it that way. And starting, I'd say right away, when we did the scene with the woman on the bed, her bottom's in the air, and he has the... I mean, it's like 2 minutes into the picture. At that point, if you leave, if you don't, what I'm saying? That's the movie, it's gonna, that's it. So we were there, and okay, we know. Where's this go? It goes right in the beginning.
I think you're way past having to defend any of your motives. Whatever you do for us, for me, for my generation that grew up, with you were always the man. There was you, and then there were some other people. And as you really, and we always felt like, I always felt, and I think I speak for the rest of us, like, how the fuck does he do it? How does he do that? How does he get the camera to move like that? How does he infuse it? How does he do this? And as you see, there's people still left and right trying to imitate you, trying to rip off how you do it, and none of us can get it right. We can't seem to do it quite how you
He's talking
get
about,
it
you know,
done. No,
the
really.
pictures he's made, he's talking, come on.
No.
But
You started a vocabulary. We should open this up to questions. This could go on forever, but I just wanted to, there's a certain amount of vocabulary that a few of us are armed with to get to make movies that directly comes from Marty, and he will talk about the films that he took it from, but you can never really recognize you can recognize sort of what he's talking about, but he's done moves and things and an attack on telling a story that is unique and was brand new when he started doing it. All the way along he's been doing it, but it's been developing over the years, piece by piece. And you see this culmination of it every time he sort of makes a movie. You see it here tonight in this movie, and I really do speak for everybody that's around me that's making movies right now. We look at him, and he is the governor. So.